Hello everyone, you're on VM24.com channel and today we're going to take apart Samsung Galaxy A33. First of all, we need to remove the card tray. To do this, we use a special tool, insert it into the hole and carefully push the card tray out. After that, we need to heat the surface of the back cover to a temperature of approximately 70 degrees Celsius or 160 degrees Fahrenheit. For this, we use a heating pad, but you can also use a hair dryer. And after about 10 minutes, we can move on to separating the back cover. To detach the back cover, we use a thin plastic film. This can be a protective film from a new display or a film from a stationery store. We carefully insert the film into the gap between the back cover and the mid-frame and gently run it along the edge, cutting through the adhesive layer. Please note that the back cover is slightly recessed, so we need to carefully try to lift it with a thin tool. In general, after that, we can already use a thicker tool. And finally, we managed to detach the back cover. We turn the back cover over. As we can see, there are no components mounted on the back cover. After that, it is better to cover the camera lenses. For this, we use a special film. Please note that we apply the film not on the lenses themselves, but on the rim around them. Next, we need to unscrew the screws. For this, we use a 1.5mm Phillips screwdriver or a Phillips #30. It is better to place the screws in a specific order on a dedicated surface because screws may not thread properly if installed in the wrong holes. So after that, we need to detach the cover in the upper part. It is better to use a non-metal tool so as not to short anything on the printed circuit board. And we remove the cover that hides the motherboard. The cover has antenna traces on it. After that, using a non-metal tool, we disconnect the battery connector. Then we move on to unscrewing the screws in the lower part. For unscrewing, we also use a 1.5mm Phillips screwdriver. And pay attention to this interesting case. Someone before us already tried to screw a screw into the wrong hole, and they really tried hard and forced it in. To remove this screw, we had to use a Phillips #20 or Phillips 2mm screwdriver. By the way, during reassembly, I found its correct hole and the screw threaded into it perfectly fine. After that, we detached the cover in the lower part. For this, we used tweezers. Carefully pry it up in the correct place, lift it and remove the cover. Next, we need to disconnect the interconnect flex cable. To do this, we disconnect the connectors on the subboard. Then disconnect the connector on the motherboard and move the interconnect flex cable aside. Now we need to disconnect the fingerprint sensor connector. We disconnect or peel off the display connector, and we also need to disconnect two connectors of the two coaxial cables. Then we need to unscrew one screw that secures the subboard. For this, we use a Phillips #30 screwdriver. Please note that this screw is different from the previous ones. And now we can remove the subboard. Carefully pry it up in the correct place, lift it and take it out. On the subboard there are the charging port, microphone and other components on the reverse side. In the display frame, the following remain: the speaker, fingerprint sensor and the vibration motor. In our traditional quick test of the microphone opening, the microphone hole is located in the display frame, has an L-shaped form, is protected on the back side by a mesh or membrane, as well as a gasket. The microphone body itself is located on the subboard on the reverse side. Accordingly, if we insert anything into the microphone hole, we will not be able to damage the microphone in this way. And we move on to the motherboard. We can disconnect the cameras, carefully pry at the edge and remove the rear cameras. At this stage, we can disconnect only two rear cameras. Then we can disconnect the front camera. It is also better to cover the front camera lens with a film so that debris or dust doesn't get on it. After that, we need to unscrew one screw that secures the motherboard. This screw is different from the previous ones, and it is also better to keep it separately. We disconnect the two connectors of the two coaxial cables. And we can remove the motherboard. Carefully pry it up, lift it and remove the motherboard. We turn the motherboard over and disconnect the two rear cameras. Carefully move the cameras aside. On this model, we will not disconnect the battery because we were asked not to do this. However, on our channel there are many videos showing how to disconnect this type of battery on Samsung smartphones. So that completes our assembly. Thank you for watching and see you in our new videos, either on our Telegram channel or on our website.
Okay guys, now we're done. Thank you for watching. If you like what we do, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, read our articles on our website. Take care of yourself and until next video.